Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. Oh, Daniel and Dan both right there in the beginning. Hey, thanks, guys. Having a rough day. I already got like some overnight support calls. So I don't even have the chart started because I had to go and take care of that. So let's start everything. Like, I don't even know what we got on the docket for today. I can tell you yesterday, they really battled out. I watched the tape. I was actually trading quite late into the day yesterday. I had some really, really good trades, but I'm not, I still got some kinks to work out of that strategy. I think most of it is on my side, because when I was talking to some people about it and why I was having problems, I couldn't like justify it to them. So like I need to go back through and do things a little bit more specific so I can prove to them where the problems are. Anyways, they were battling it out so effing hard yesterday. It was just ridiculous. And yeah. The sellers were pushing so hard down at the bottom, and the buyers just sat there and ate it all up. It wasn't like the sort of a thing where some guy's down there and he has to kind of coax them into it. Like, the sellers were giving him everything that they wanted. You know? It was just crazy. But then in the end, they never gave up. And then when the futures opened up again, they opened 20 points higher. Which was just insane to me. And I'm going out on Twitter and everything, and I'm seeing some of these guys are like so positive that the market. Okay, so I'm looking at my volume profile, and I can see that we're still up around 28.66. What about on the 10-year? Okay, the 10-year dropped down a little bit. So maybe things aren't so bad. I don't know. There must have been some company earnings during that time that like everybody readjusted to, but man, they just the sellers yesterday just got burned again. And we'll see what happens today. What news do we have on the docket? Oh, we don't have a whole lot of anything. Just CB leading index. Yep, April 17th. All right. Well, how are you guys doing this morning? Retry. Gotta come in here and complain of my sob story to some people here.
Daniel K says I was a permabear yesterday. Daniel K says ended up down.
Yeah. You know what, Daniel? I wouldn't stress too much about it.
Daniel K says really gotta lose my bias. I have trouble changing bias meta. Winston's mom says good morning and happy Friday to everyone looking forward to their weekend. How are you this morning, Speculator Seth, and will everyone watching please hit like? Thanks.
Yeah, I wouldn't stress too bad about it. In fact, I'm really kind of the opinion right now that it would be how how do I put this? I mean, like the market's moving so much, and you look at it, and you're like, there's so much opportunity, and you can catch these big, huge swings. And you're right, you can, but you got to realize that money is coming out of the market, and where is that? You're trading against somebody, and where is that coming from? You're trading against somebody that is going short to hedge themselves, or going long to hedge themselves, or whatever the deal is. They're just going to take the money from the scalpers for the most part. You don't have a very good when the market is coming down. Even the best traders have trouble making money. So right now is a really good time to just kind of trade sim or sit on your heels, because the volatility is so much. You
Winston's
probably
mom
just gonna
says
get
an
diced
hour
up.
after you stopped live streaming yesterday, your local news reported a 4.5. I think.
Hmm.
Did you check the channel numbers to see how many people viewed?
I didn't. Haven't even been looking at it lately. I've been doing well. That's not what I wanted. Pretty good. Actually, did have slightly more people watch it yesterday, just by a little bit. Notice it's great that our numbers just always continue to go up. I haven't been having the best month or anything. Well, I don't know. I think back on it on streaming, like we had some bad days this week, but then I remember having some really good days last week. But, you know, in the end, I kind of think it's all a wash. I can see the market doing this thing here. Oh my gosh, I didn't even put socks. You know what? I'll be right back. All right. I don't have socks on, and my feet are already getting cold.
Winston's mom says Daniel K. heuristic bias, lol, everyone leans that way a bit. Are you sim trading like speculator Seth is doing now?
Heuristic bias? No, I'm live
Daniel K. says
trading.
no, I'm live trading. It's okay though, just a tiny % of account.
I mean, I did take some live trades, and I lost a good chunk. I the thing that's frustrating about it to me is it still looks to me like the strategy is good. But it's me. So otherwise, I have some spots where like the market just fights it so hard. It's so bizarre. It's like if somebody made a robot that was able to see the IDs of everybody's order coming in, and they specifically looked for me, and then tried to push the market against me every time that I got in. I don't think that the results would be any worse in some of those situations. But as just the way the market's being right now, I think. If you know somebody that has, broker statements from January through March and they're profitable, every week through that period, or even if they were profitable through the overall time period, I'd love to see it. But I'm going to guess that the vast majority of everybody's just losing money. Kind of like how when we were moving up, you could just go long and it was easy. And I was making money back then, right? With the micros. Made a good oh man. It was like 500 plus bucks just from a single micro contract, right? It's a rough market. They kind of do that. I mean, it's just been rough.
Winston's mom says my husband asked me to see if you have listened to Trade Risk. He's a swing trader and what my himself likes is he gives a good technical analysis and he likes his personality.
I've never heard of that guy. The thing that was frustrating yesterday is actually was taking some swing trades, and they were working out, but I couldn't take I could never get the profit fast enough. So like I would get it to run for me like 10
That
or
guy
more
says
ticks.
first time hearing about him.
I was getting like 10 to 15 points, rather 10 to 15 points in ES, and then I would put my limit order out, and they wouldn't fill me. And by the time I'm able to just market sell it or market exit, it already come back half. So in the end, that didn't end up making money. If I had been able to get my exits, I would.
Max1, Professor 1T says you trading manually or with auto strategy?
I usually do manually. I've tried some auto strategies. I have some that I actually have one that we should be running. I'm gonna run this one. I'm gonna make it. Where is it? I have one that tests really, really, really well, and I just haven't been using it. But usually, what ends up happening, what you find is
Max1, Professor 1T says we've tried to.
Yeah. So generally speaking, my
Max1,
own
Professor 1T says 10k face with tears of joy.
minus 10K. Wow.
That guy says I heard algos were a waste of time.
Well, no, but hold on a second. Look, you're going a little bit too fast. I love you guys. Don't stop talking. I'm going to turn the auto reader off and keep talking so that I can keep responding to your comments about it. I have to turn it off so that I can pontificate for a second. But usually what will happen is you'll backtest it and it won't be profitable. And then if it is and you finally do get something that looks profitable, you're going to go in and start trading it, and then it will not be profitable. So you got to remember that the market is fractal in nature, that the input is the output of the previous iteration. And if you come in and you start trading it, then you're changing the function essentially. And it's so your back test on other results, just simulated results are going to be different than when you trade it live, which is why you should always be really, really slow with it, right? Like first back test it, then test it on sim, then put it on just like one lot. Test it with the minimum amount that you can, and then if it works, slowly size it up until you can see the market start to react to it, and then back off a little bit, and just stay there. But the algos is especially so. There's an article on futuresmagazine.com where they talk about what kind of firms are doing well this week, and one of the ones that they follow are the machine learning algorithms. Well, the machine learning algorithms were down in March because what happens is they're looking for patterns in the most recent action, and they end up Um, when the market changes so quickly like it has right now, those end up losing money. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a thing like that, and that's why I feel that unless you've got like a team of people and you're gonna that you can constantly work together to modify your algorithm, you're gonna have a tough time. Um, and it's the same with the live trading. Like you're gonna have to constantly adjust things because it's a fractal function. Mm, yeah. But that's why I've found that my own trading tends to do better than my oh, let's enable it. Yeah, my own trading tends to do better than any of the algorithms that I've developed, but I don't put a ton of time into it. I have been I've developed some new indicators looking at level 2 that allows me to see things so much more clearly than I did before. And I'm already seeing something that uh, I think I can automate. So I might do that this weekend. This one's going to be hard though because that data you can't really back test on. So I kind of just have to take it and uh, run it on Sim Live and see how it turns out. I wouldn't say that algos are a waste of time, but like if you're one guy, it's going to be difficult. Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Winston's mom says MarketWatch says that the IRS is sending checks to our dead relatives and we are allowed to keep those checks. Ick, and double ick, but yet if I were to receive one, I would probably keep it. Daniel K says I think Ninja Replay data has level 2. Could you backtest your new indicator using that?
I don't think it worked. I could probably do it on a replay, but it still wouldn't necessarily be the same thing. I don't think that the replay in NinjaTrader is reliable. I honestly haven't gone through it a whole lot. I've noticed. So just as an example, I have one indicator, not one indicator. I have one strategy that I used to backtest the basis that I was using for the ace trade. And when I was on Rhythmic, that one, I had it all set up and it showed that it was, good enough. And then when I added all of my other stuff on top, my own discretion on top of it, it should work out really well. And when you let things run, it should work out really well. And then I went back and tested it on CQG yesterday, and it was not. So it's like
Algo
even
Lover
changing
says
data
now right
providers.
finger
I don't.
7:52 p.m. Algo Lover S buyers need to hold market above 2,844 for continuation greater than 2,900
Oh,
target. If 2,844 fails first, then anticipate deeper pullback. Nerd face still valid.
really? Hmm. I can see that somebody is still out here in the market trying to push it down. So you're getting a lot of
Algo Lover says
outside barks.
HAGWE thumbs up.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for it. Whenever you come in and you give us those stuff, it's helpful.
Daniel K says oh really? I'm a big fan of the Ninja Replay. I am new to order flow, so
Mm,
I've been using that with John Grady's course. I will take a closer look, thanks.
yeah. Well, so that's Daniel. That's my thing is like when if you're trying to trade the DOM off of it, right? It's not the same thing as when it's live.
Blue Turtle says yo.
So,
OMG, hot. Normal high is 90. Now and next week it will be 100 to
wow, really?
110 every day. Here people go crazy over $100. I've been here 4 years helping set up schools. Getting some culture.
Good morning, Blue. Yeah. So if you want to like have order flow to practice, that's one of the main reasons why I record this is so that you can see the way that it looked when it was live. Because when you replay the data, the way that the level 2 changes, it's just not the same. It's just not quite the same thing. I'm not saying that practice on that is useless or anything. It's just I think that using the video is a way better way to do it. That's all. Plus the other thing is you really have to practice on the most recent data, right? Because there's a continuing metagame with the tape.
Gary Rich says good morning. Daniel
Good
K
morning,
says very
Gary.
helpful, thanks.
Gary, I feel like I haven't said recently how much I appreciate you as a viewer, and I just want to let you know. I don't know why. I don't know why I feel compelled to do this, but I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, Gary Rich is a really great member of the room, and I'm glad that he comes around still. So, anyways,
That guy says morning, Gary.
really all of y'all, but I was thinking about you
Blue
specifically
Turtle says do
yesterday, Gary.
people still trade off pivots? Or fibs? Is there a critical mass still following those things? Gary Rich says loving that crude under 20.
So Alligator, who is probably our longest friend, well, actually, no, he's not our longest friend. Really, John is our longest friend in the market, but Alligator was like one of the guys that started the Discord with us, and he trades off of the pivots. He's always talking about S1, S2, and they pay attention to which pivot they get to, and yeah. So people definitely do it. I don't know if there's a critical mass following it. I have to say, I've been working on trying to follow the VIX, and because of some things
That
that
guy
Gary
says I
told
find
us.
fibs to be quite unreliable. It's like relying on astrology to enter your trades.
Yeah.
Winston's mom says Gary Rich is a really great person, nice and smart, and he's one of a kind, and he is kind. All hail, Gary Rich, who often flies under the radar with his border collie. Please hit like for Gary Rich.
There you go.
Michael XC says just join chat. Pivots of what are we talking about?
Okay, so Michael, the way that pivots work is basically you're taking like the high, low, and close of the previous session, and I forget what the exact calculation is, but it's a simple calculation. The way that it originated was that floor traders would use those numbers, and then they would quickly calculate in their head the levels that they were going to pay attention to, and that's where pivots came from. It appears to me that since markets have gone all digital, that those are not really as useful anymore. Um, Same thing with like fib numbers. I haven't really noticed. Although when I was looking, I made an indicator that show you the VIX volatility. We can look at what it's telling us right now. Actually, this is. I really wish that I had the VIX data on NinjaTrader so that I could show you the NinjaTrader version of it live. But we get it through. I got it through TradingView, and you can see right there. So the gray is the open, and there's like the first target and second target, and oh my gosh, they almost always come like literally right to it. And I can predict that at the beginning of the day. That is way 100 like 10 times more reliable than anything I've ever seen. So now, of course, here on this one, we're actually above it now. So there was that move up overnight was actually quite extreme. But so that's my suggestion would be to use things that are more statistical, like the VIX or average true range or things like that to kind of figure out your ranges and levels. Because, like you said, fibs are kind of, I don't know. Maybe there was a time where the fibs naturally came out, but it seems to me like too many people trying to game fibs. Yeah.
Michael XC says sure, pivots are still useful, at least to tell you how far it can move. Blue Turtle says I wrote in books on pivots in 2002 or 2001. I forget. I focused on weekly and monthly pivots.
Man, hearing you talk about that, Blue, makes me think I should write a book. That's what I need to do. I need to write a book. I don't know. If I wrote a book, I think it would be about the programming stuff, though. Hey, you know what? Actually, writing a book about programming it in NinjaTrader would be really cool. But it would probably be better just to make videos. Probably there's some more videos that I could make on the programming, especially since I don't have a video specifically about some things like patterns that are useful for writing strategies is probably the next one that I really need to do. We might actually get a change here. They're trying to make a run here. Like I'm just looking at that price right there, 2861.25, and if they were able to beat that price out, I think that there would probably be a reaction. But I would think that even if they were able to get up above that they would probably get smacked down. But this market is like it's fighting itself really hard.
Blue Turtle says do something and monetize it.
Yeah. Well, I make the videos. Hey, you know what? I don't always make money. Like, we'll just admit that. I have periods where I do really great. Right now, I'm not doing super great. That is to be expected when literally everything is down and it's a difficult market. You know what I mean? And, but I still think that the content that we're creating here is really valuable to people. You can see what the market did, and that's not something you can see anywhere else. And I'm a really good programmer, and if there's anything you want, some indicator written in NinjaTrader, even on another platform. Frankly, I'm been enjoying doing stuff on other platforms. You just find me on Discord and I make it. I love doing that stuff, and that is that's really valuable. And that's more valuable than a book, and it's really cool that all I have to do is put the video up and people watch it, and advertisers can put ads on the videos, and I can get what is the word? I can get rewarded from that. So, and at some point, maybe we would like to sell the indicators to. There's a lot of I don't know, roadblocks to that right now. Not that there's like any real reason to do it. It's just I'm a little hesitant to do it because I don't want to give up the edges that some of them give for one.
Block by.
And for two, I don't want to deal with all of the nonsense that you get when you selling stuff,
Michael XC says, what's this economic releases window from?
It's a jigsaw tool. So if you're using jigsaw, make sure you have the latest version. And it's this button over here with the widgets, and there's real-time news and economic releases. I haven't really been using the real-time news. We could put it up if we wanted. Oh, right. That would never open for me on oh, really? Um, that you might. I bet there's probably stuff you could do about that. I think that it's using a web page. I think that really all it is it's a container around a web page. So I would like try reinstalling Chrome and stuff like that. But you can also, it's the same thing that you get if you just go into Journalytics, right? Um, if we come over, hold on. I don't want to show a where is it? I don't want to show an account number. I'm gonna be careful about that. There you go. So if you come over into the day overview, it's the same stuff that you see over there. So you can open it up there. Mm-hmm.
Max1, Professor 1T says, what's your opinion about Ross from Warrior Trading?
Oh, okay. So, I watched his channel. I think he's probably, in terms of like doing the YouTube thing, he's probably the most successful person on YouTube about that. Um, most when I've done some research on him, people have been saying that the way that he makes money is by front running. That he will get into something and then all of his followers will get into it afterwards, and he picks stuff with a low amount of volume so that they carry him. So that might be true or not. He does post uh, consistently posts his results, and even when they're bad. So kudos to him for that, and he's definitely been a good way to. He's definitely done good at the YouTube thing, but what he's doing is really very different from what we're doing, right? It's a completely different game when you're talking about stocks because stocks is really more about picking. It's more about what company is going to be the hot thing that day. And if you can make something the hot thing, then obviously that's a really big advantage that you have, right? But but futures trading is different. You pick your one instrument and you're just taking a directional bet against everybody else, you know? And gaming out a trade is a completely different game.
Winston's mom says, Blue Turtle, Vedic is simply moving your houses back about 22 degrees. I study both Western tropical and Vedic. The houses, planets, et al. Remain the same, but Vedic is more predictive.
The treasuries really took off there. I kind of came in and I was saying that I wanted to. I said to myself in my head, maybe we try and take another ZN trade, and then I kind of lost my focus, and so I never took it. And I've kind of been just watching this in the E-mini. You see, they really want to take out that 28, 61, 25, and they can't seem to get there. I'm just gonna put an X there. Oh, you know what else? We need to import our levels. That's something that'll probably be useful to us. Oh yeah, that one I don't even have the column up. So load levels. Yes, there we go. So we had a little bit of a cross down there. Okay. Oh, we're above the previous close already? All in an area that we've spent some time in the tenure. So where is the previous high in opening range high, overnight high? Huh. But I don't know where's previous highs should be, like way down here, right? Previous high, yeah. Okay, cool. No, I'm wondering if there might be a move to there.
Winston's mom says Blue Turtle. What I mean is that in Western astrology, I am an Aquarius moon, while in Vedic, I am a Capricorn moon. Our moon is ethos,
Okay.
emotions. Gemini sun, Libra ascendant and INTJ, lol. Blue Turtle says someone said like 5,000 calls on Gilead were bought out of the money before the announcement, of course.
This this is like, it seems to me particularly odd overnight, or early morning action in the tenure in the E-mini. Man, I'm having trouble. I'm having trouble even speaking now, man. I guess it's really been a long week. Yesterday I was like so tired I didn't even. Thursday is kind of like my light workout, so I skipped it. Yeah. And then the baby has been, oh my gosh, like all of the sudden he is just hungry all the time. So we've been giving him formula. Well, we've been topping him off with formula now too. So that's been stressful too. Mm-mm.
Winston's mom says Speculator Seth, you guys all took the Big 5 test, next we should get you to take the Enneagram. That test is like a
Okay.
metaphysical compass to your inner health. I am 5W4.
Okay. I'm trying to stay focused on what the mini is doing here, so maybe I'll do it after the stream. I have to look that up. Okay, so are they actually gonna do it? Are they actually gonna do it? They're so close. You see him pushing it? Just based on the DOM, I think I'd be buying it right there. But I don't think that's what I'm looking for, so I'm just gonna hold off. Okay. It might be close though. I might be able to take it. This, I need to change this. I need to change this because up needs to be like steel blue and down can be red. There we go. And I should make it a little thicker. There we go. So I can tell when it's trending up and it might be worth taking. Mm-hmm. Sorry, what happened here?
Winston's mom says the baby is super hungry. It's spring and my ferrets are super hungry. Lol, maybe he is going through a growth spurt.
Maybe he was a little bit smaller than he should be, like or than average babies his size. So we are a little concerned that he's not sucking hard enough, or he's just not getting enough out of the boobs. I don't know. So we're topping him off, and hopefully that fixes it. Oh my gosh! So now they pushed it back down. It was getting really close to the point where I was thinking about buying it, and then it didn't happen. I really should have been looking to short it there instead. Actually, well, let's just watch it.
Winston's mom says my son was born in the 90 percentile range and promptly began losing weight. The
Oh, really?
doctors on base do not encourage breastfeeding airmen, so we went to formula.
Oh, really?
Cursory Forex says Seth, you trade only order flow on DOM or you look at other charts at other monitors?
Cursory, I've been doing a little bit of everything, and I think that I've let myself become a little bit disjointed and distracted. When I trade the treasuries, when I trade the 10-year, I really like to just look at the DOM, and I'm only looking at my chart for a reference to remember where it was turning at. I will give you an example. Here's this chart over here that I have in the 10-year. I really like these one range charts so that I can kind of see, okay, yeah, they are arranging in this area and they were arranging in this area. Now they're ranging in this area, so maybe I would sell it at 0.05 half if I thought that it was a sell right now, which I don't. But other than that, I just look at the DOM for the 10-year for the most part. And I have a couple of different ways that I've done it, and I kind of change it over time as the market changes. What I'm doing in the E-mini right now, I am looking at the DOM, and I may move to relying more on that. But at the moment, I've been using my charts. I am trying to trade a system. And I'm trying to be strict about the rules and following the rules for that system. And so that's why because for me in this one, it's more about doing it properly and recording it correctly so that I can show the person that I did it, and they can say, okay, well, here's where you made the mistake or not, you know? And then we can conclusively say whether or not that particular strategy works. But I have the charts on the other monitor over here. I changed them yesterday, so I really only have those 4 up right now. And I'm only looking at the 2 on the right because otherwise I have to turn my head all the way over here. So I have to say, with I think the question is, because Jigsaw right now doesn't have charts. Jigsaw is going to have charts soon. Is my understanding. But yeah, I do think you need a charting platform. So
Blue Turtle says mom, I'm a 3. Let me read the description. I'm sure it's comical. Quasar says, is there any specific reason for not trading TN instead of ZN?
Yeah, because ZN has the most liquidity. And I want to be where the liquidity is. I like the liquidity. That's also why I trade the E-mini and not like the NASDAQ or the...
Quasar says yeah, that's true. I find it much easier to get filled on TN though.
Oh, really? I When you get a hang of it, I don't want to say when you get a hang of it, but I just usually don't have a lot of trouble getting filled in the tenure.
Winston's mom says basic fear of being worthless, basic desire to feel valuable and worthwhile. Enneagram 3 with a 2 wing, the charmer. Enneagram 3 with a 4 wing, the professional.
Yeah. I mean, it'll go back and forth, and there are some markets where it's high liquidity and very rangy, and then it is difficult to get filled on things, but it normally
Blue
is
Turtle
not
says I was almost an 8.
normally not the problem if I'm having problems in the tenure. Because I kind of know where the spots where there's going to be volume into something and where I'm likely to get filled. But I don't know. So like the thing is the edge that I use is really about the volume, or not the volume, but it really relies on the liquidity in the tenure, and having all of that liquidity allows you to be able to see it. So what you can do is you can look at the 10-year and you can say, okay, so I'm seeing this in the 10-year and I'm going to try trading it over here in the 30. But I always, when I was doing that, I had a very difficult time and I didn't do very well doing that. I think because you would end
Michael
up picking the
XC
wrong
says
spot.
problem with fills is called
30.
ZN.
You would end up picking the wrong spot in the 30. Like maybe you had it right that they were about to go up, but the 30 would still come back down 4 ticks because the bottom was still back down there.
Blue Turtle says I used to trade the curve a lot. 5 10s. I have no idea if it's steepening now, but that trade works fast when it works.
Oh yeah.
Winston's
You would
mom
spread
says
trade
my
it?
husband is an ESTP, an MBTI, and an 8. They are entrepreneurs at heart, or you could be the others: ESTP, ENTP, ENTJ, ESTJ, extroverted, impersonal, task-focused. Michael XZ says in ZB sometimes you don't know if a market order would work better than a limit.
So based on my own research, and I've heard some other people do some things, but when I say my own research, I mostly mean when I go in and I back test strategies. If you're a retail trader and you're scalping, you really want to use limit orders. You really do. You're giving up just that one tick. You're giving so much up by hitting in with a market order. So there's that. Dem leader Schumer, munition talks productive and might have an agreement soon, says Teletrader. That's good.
Blue Turtle says I haven't traded the curve since 1999. Lol.
So I'm told that there used to be a guy with a room, and he had tons of guys, and I mean like hundreds of traders, and they were all spread trading. And then I think, I mean, I wasn't around back then, so this was a story that was related to me. But then when I think it was in 2007, like the whole strategy blew up,
Quasar
and they
says,
just
damn,
disappeared.
you missed 20 years of ticks?
And they just got destroyed, and ever since then, the spread trading hasn't been so popular in the retail
Blue
traders.
Turtle says after the dot-com boom, it was all stocks. Then it was buying and selling houses. Real estate much better.
Yeah, well, I think the market is changing. So, one of the guys that I really like and I follow is Future Trader 71. And if you've ever watched his stuff, he talks about his story that he started in equities and he did well in equities, and then 2001 happened and that basically blew up. And then he moved over to futures and he started doing volume profile and stuff, right? But now recently, he's been changing a bunch of stuff up. He has started this convergent trading thing, and he's charging $100 for access to his room, essentially, which is actually really fair, just considering the clout that he has, I guess. But I really am not a fan of paid rooms. But it kind of makes you wonder, like, okay, so is even he having trouble making money trading now or something? Because why would he put all that effort in? I don't know. I, I am. It really does feel to me like in the environment that we've had, it goes between two things. It's either one, it's like really, really low volatility, and the robots are out there and they're just so hard to compete with for some reason, or you get into the market that we have right now, which is really high volatility, and you would think that there would be opportunity, but the money is coming out of the market and it just tends to move further than most retail traders can afford to hold a stop. So it's like, the futures market, even the futures market now is difficult.
Blue Turtle says if you heard of Market Profile, I knew the guy who created it. He signed some books
Oh,
for
yeah?
me, but I probably gave them away.
You mean Dalton? You talking about Dalton? Mm-mm-mm-mm. The whole books thing is really interesting. I want to read the book that Mandelbrot wrote because that seems to me like the most recent significant mathematical work on the markets. And based on what I know about it, it sounds to me like what Mandelbrot was saying is that trading on short time frames just is always a gamble because it's a fractal function and it's unpredictable, essentially. But we got to read his book and see what he really said in his book.
Quasar says you can find the version he wrote for the CBOT. It is available for free.
The Mandelbrot wrote for the CBOT, or are you talking about that thing that they made at for Market Profile? I've read that thing. I read that thing that he made for Market Profile for the CBOT. Wow,
Blue Turtle says I worked at the CBOT for 5 years.
that's cool. So Blue, are you actively trading right now? As it sounded. I can't recall. I think you had already said that you weren't really trading right now. Yeah.
Joe Horton says he intraday position trades these days. His room is a forum. I'm a member. You get loads of educational stuff in there and access to LiveSquawk. It's cheaper than just
Yes.
paying for LiveSquawk.
I did notice that they started out, it was $50, and I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to pay $50 for a room, and then they changed it to $100, and I'm like, well, dang, maybe I should have done, because I would really like a squawk. If I could pay $50 a month for a squawk, I think I would do it. Hey, you know what? Maybe, we'll see. Maybe I don't think I'm going to be live trading for a while. Maybe I could go and get around squawk. Stop paying my live trading license and pay for Rand Squawk instead. That would be nice. I really want that. That's like $84 a month though, I think, right? I have to go now. I have to go back and look. News Squawk is what it's called now. I hate how it's like it doesn't tell you the price when you go to their website. I prefer financial juice to LiveSquawk. LiveSquawk is annoying too much speaking, and I don't really care about the French data. Yeah, with the publications also in real time, no delay. Yes, that's right. For future traders, 71's room.
Blue Turtle says bought and sold houses from 2005 to now. Even help build and sell houses. I have investments in the market, no trading. No plan to trade, no interest. I'm old. Lol.
I look at it. I don't know what it is about it. I like the art of trading. Even if I'm not doing well at it, it's a constant game, and sometimes you win the game and sometimes you lose the game, right? And to me, it's like an evolving meta. But I'm kind of wondering on your side, if you were going to day trade, where you would try and doing it, where you think the opportunities are. Because particularly right now, I'm interested in trying new things. You can't. I think people have this idea that you're going to go and get like this robot and trade it, and it's just going to make money forever, and it's just not the case. Market cycle and where the opportunity is changes, and there's been some opportunity in the treasuries for sure. Last year there was some good opportunity in the treasuries. We did well at many points in that. But now I'm kind of wondering if it's time to move things.
Blue Turtle says it was a passion. If it's a passion, keep doing it. Passions, to me, is life. Passions change.
Yeah, when I have a bad day, it's so hard streaming it because there's some people out there that are waiting for me to have a bad day so that they can crow about it, which is why I'm always really careful to say to people, you know, because I don't have to say this, right? I could just pretend and let people think what they want to think. But I don't want people to think that I'm making money right now because I'm not. And to me, uh, it would be irresponsible, and I'm not going to lie to people and convince them to trade futures when right now I'm not making money at it, and it's a difficult thing. And I mean that's kind of the point, right? Is that if you're going to trade futures, like one of the points that I'm trying to get across is that if you're going to trade futures, you have to accept the fact that it's extremely difficult and you're probably going to lose money, and just don't lose too much of it all at once. um, but then when you don't do well and people are all getting all over you, man, it's hard. It's very difficult. Dealing with online bullying is not an easy thing. But every time that I'm feeling down and I get down into it, and I'm like, well, maybe I should just stop trading and stop doing the stream. It's like the worst thought in the world to me because it's like truly my passion. It's like the thing I I feel I'm here to do, and I gotta just keep trugging on through the difficult times, and it might always be difficult, but I still enjoy doing it.
Quasar says, Seth, trading is a thing you like and enjoy doing. Even more than this, you have the guts to be fully transparent by streaming it. You shouldn't care about what viewers think, at least you do it.
Yeah, not gonna let anybody bully me out of it. It's so then it kind of turns into okay, so where do I need to make the changes? I know that the market changes and I have to adjust. So got to figure out where I should make the changes. I really should have gone short up back at 28.62. I realize that now it was a mistrade, but oh well. Oh well.
Jokel says, love your streams, bro.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. Um,
Blue Turtle says, my first trade. Lost $800, 1 year, lost $80,000, but I'm up since 1995.
really?
Again, the big money was in houses. I did make 10K on one trade many, many times.
Well, good for you, man. I do want to get more into real estate. I think I'm gonna let the market chill off a little bit first, but I really want to get together. My dad actually has a broker's license. So I want to get together with him and my brother and start picking up some real estate and manage some properties. I really want to do it. My wife doesn't want to do it, but I really want to do it.
Michael XC says, Seth, explain as concisely as possible what auction theory is.
Okay, so there's probably a couple of different ways that you could take this, but I think what you're going for is that auction theory is a theory that the market is a two-way auction. So essentially, what you have is you have people that are supplying contracts, and you have people that want to buy, and the people that are buying will bid up, and they will bid at higher and higher and higher and higher until the people that are buying it have reached the maximum price that they want to buy it at. And that is the auctioning process. But the market is a two-way auctioning process, so they can bid it up and they can bid it down. And what we are doing is we're looking for the spots where the buyers and sellers end up meeting on both of these sides. So right now, a little bit of buying around 28.48, and on the upside, they were doing it up at like 28.53, and that's the zigzag. That's how I would explain the auctioning process.
Joe Horton says I literally asked my broker to lock everything except the US
Really?
10-year and only trade one lot face with tears of joy face with tears of joy.
Tell you what, man. I think that the brokers are starting to do, and the software developers are starting to realize the issues with giving people unrestricted access to risk, and are maybe creating more tools to help people keep their risk down. But I think it might still be another year or two before they completely get into it. But I was talking to some guys, like I was talking to the Optimus guys, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, and putting a maximum risk thing in there, that would be a really, really great idea."
IDK says Seth, have you noted the spread between May and June on the crude oil? IDK says the spread is $7 lol.
Oh, really? Like at the beginning of the contract? What? Did not know that.
Quasar says haha yeah John, I would be tempted to trade up lol, I don't wanna be tempted so only a Bob spread is allowed hehe.
Yeah, the spread. The main thing that's kept me away from doing the spreads is the commissions. I've never really gotten too serious about the spreads.
Joe Horton says since then I have increased size and unlocked my limitations, and funnily enough I still trade with them. They took a long-term view. Quasar says talking about restrictions, I remember the other day Seth, what about restricting S on your account, smiley face.
All right. Well, I'm actually surprised that I was able to place an order on it. Like, I didn't think that they would. I thought that the margin requirements were still really high, but apparently they brought it back down. Oh, I forgot what I was doing. I was trying to remember how much Ransquawk costs, but then I didn't. I didn't go and figure it out. Change package. Pretty sure that it's like $84.
Osman Celebi says what do you usually trade?
So I'm either gonna trade the micro ES futures or the 10-year. So ZN or ES, MES. I should have taken a short at 28.62, but I missed it because I was looking the wrong way. I was so concerned that it might flip and go positive that I didn't realize that they were giving me a short there. And I was supposed to take the short based on my qualifications, I guess you could say.
Gene Hibbert says thanks for your honesty Seth. I've been really enjoying your videos and am learning a lot from you. Would love to see more of your ninja script videos.
We should make one. I need to make a video. I've been promising you guys a video about computer stuff. So like your trading setup. So I really think I need to make that tonight. I've actually tried recording it a few times, and there was things I didn't like about the audio or the video of it, and so I didn't use that footage. But I really don't feel like recording right now, but I'm gonna force myself to do it tonight. And then maybe next week we can do one on strategies. We really need to make a Ninja Trader video about programming strategies, because everything that I've shown you so far is mostly focused on the indicator. And there's a couple of things that kind of I'm noticing is making it difficult for some of you guys to make the transition to turning what you're doing on an indicator into a strategy. And, back testing it and stuff.
JB says, wow, those are two markets that have totally different feels and actions.
Yeah. I've been noticing one of the problems that I've been having in MES is that in the 10-year, when you have too much liquidity, they tend to shy away from it. And in ES, when you have a ton of liquidity in a spot, it tends to mean that the traders are taking a trade in that direction, and that liquidity is, at least my theory is that liquidity is them putting all of their orders out there looking to get filled. And so you can kind of get you'll get your wires crossed because they behave like the complete opposite. Now that I realize that, it's been a little bit easier for me, but we'll see. Okay, so we're having a little bit of pushback. The shorts are probably getting out here ahead of the open. I'm a bet that there's going to be some buying on the open, but I try to avoid the open. So let's let them do their thing.
Blue Turtle says, I would pick the 10 and try to trade only a few times a week, but trade big. 10 lots or something. I like risk.
Yeah. I wish I was doing that. Well, let me rephrase that. I wanted to take on less risk. Just like for me, I have a day job, right? So like money's not a big the money's not the thing for me, right? This screen has ghosting with the way that I have the chart set up. Anyways, so for me, I'm not trying to make a living off of it necessarily. I mean, I would love to be able to do that, but it's not necessarily the goal at the moment. I would really be happy if I was like, just taking a few trades, and in the end I was just making out commissions. That would be happy for me. But I wanted to take on less risk, so I was coming over into the micros because I could take on less risk and I could take more trades, and I was enjoying that. And I was having the low liquidity in the 10-year was making it really difficult. But now I've been looking at the 10-year in the past few days, and I'm kind of seeing opportunities, and I'm kind of like, well, I wish that I had stayed focused on the 10-year a little bit. But now I'm coming back into this thing where like I've been trying to do something in MES, and I'm like kind of been yesterday. I was like, oh, it doesn't. I don't think that this works. And I was talking to the guy that I've been working on a strategy with, and he was like saying this and this, and I'm like, well, you can't prove that. So I have to come back and do it again and like record it really well so that I can come back to him and say, see, look, it didn't work. And this is why. And then he can say, well, because you made this mistake, or okay, you're right, it doesn't work. And so I think I need to focus on the MES a little bit more, but I do kind of miss trading the 10-year now.
That guy says high risk is good, as long as you're being selective with your trades.
They selling it. Actually,
Quasar says there's a guy trading a shit size on bonds. He's 2YR Flipper on Twitter. He made some YouTube videos some years ago. When I say size, it is really crazy size.
Yeah, he still posts on Twitter, yeah? I know who you're talking about. Sometimes he's, yeah. I kind of will follow people because the one of the things that interests me is when a guy will come out in public and he'll make a really bold call. So like yesterday, Brannigan from Axia was saying it's going to be down tomorrow. Make sure you're short. I'm like, I cannot ever imagine myself saying that. Not only being so confident on the direction that the equities market is going to go in the next day, but then telling other people like you better be short. Cannot imagine. How could you be that confident on a trade? I would think that anybody that's that good would be smart enough to not make such a bold statement. Jeffrey Gundlach is doing the same sort of a thing. He's like saying, "Well, I'm going short again," and that the Federal Reserve is not doing its mandate and all this stuff. And I'm like, I mean, lots of guys said that in 2008 and got destroyed. So why would you say that? But and 2-year flipper has been one that's he's made some bold calls and I've seen him wrong and right, but it's not. He hasn't made any like stupid calls.
Blue Turtle says I could trade every single tick and give myself a reason. It's fun to have a position, for sure. I would use a 30-point
Right.
stop just to keep a position. Stops are for losers. Lol.
Totally get what you're saying, man. It's fun to just click. I was thinking when I was because you got going down through this thing.
John B. says that Brannigan has always got an option. Too confident for
Opinion.
his own good.
Always has an opinion. Yeah. It's interesting. It's just when you watch the videos that he makes, it's not the personality that I see in the videos, you know? But whatever. Like one of the things was he was confident that they were like fading the oil thing, and I was like, I wouldn't. I played that game before and it didn't work out for me. But whatever, they make money on it. The funny thing is that he could be taking a trade off of that and made money and be out before he ends up being proven wrong, you know?
John B. says need to leave his ego at the door.
So here's wait, so let me go back to the other thought and then let me go into the ego thing for me, right? It's been difficult for me to go through and I'm like, okay, so I've had some trouble. What are the next steps that I want to do? Like, do I want to try a new strategy? And I have like a long list of things, and which ones do you want to try? One of the things that I've been thinking about trying to do is trying to figure out how really short-term scalping might work, and looking at like that little sweep down that we just had, looking for areas like that and trying to catch it and then get the sweep and get out and only be in the trades for a few seconds, because then I would be able to make a ton of little quick trades. I don't think that I would do a very good job at it, but it would be fun, you know? But then I said, well, no, like, because I've been doing programming stuff with John and he has a strategy and he's been doing okay with it. And I'm like, no, I have somebody that's like walking me through it. I should just check all of my ideas at the door and do exactly try and trade exactly the way that they're saying to do it. And if anything, it will give me practice on sticking to my plan, because the ego thing is a real thing. My kids and my wife, if you I don't know, shit test them at all, they always fail it. Like if when the kids insult each other, even if it's like the most ridiculous insult, they are so offended by it. If I say to my wife like, hey, you shouldn't have done this, like please don't stick this kind of dish in the sink because it will grow with bacteria on it, and I'm trying to keep things clean, and she would be like, it was like I was attacking her. You know what I mean? And I always look at those and as like, okay, so like they're protecting their ego. And I don't feel like I do that. And yet there's definitely some ego to it. Like I got this thing where the way that I behave, there's this thing exuding off of me that I think I'm really smart. I don't think I am really smart. I think that I'm if I have an IQ, if I took an IQ test, I'm betting that I would probably be right around 100. If I was above IQ, it would only be a little bit, by like 105. And I know that they say that people that have an IQ, high IQ, usually don't think that they do, but I have really good reasons to think why I would be average. Okay, like I have ADHD, and that's going to hurt you a lot. For instance, okay, pretty sure that I'm right there. I know when I look at markets and my thoughts about markets, I like to share my opinion with you guys because I think that it does a good job of laying the context for people. But when I do that, I fully acknowledge that there's a really good chance I'm going to be wrong. Like, I really didn't think that the China trade deal was going to happen. I had really good reasons to think that it wasn't happening. And then all of a sudden, they just saved it at the last second. And I was wrong, you know? And I was dead wrong about that trade, right? But even though I think all of that, there's something about the way that I behave that kind of says to people that I think I'm really smart. Which and I don't know where it comes from, but and it's I don't know, maybe it's just because when I know something, I'm very cold and factual about it. So like we were having this conversation with somebody the other day. They were complaining about the people that aren't taking the pandemic seriously, that aren't taking COVID-19 seriously. And I was saying, well, listen, first of all, we absolutely need to do the social distancing because the statistics very clearly show that if we do not flatten the curve, that the United States hospital system will be completely overwhelmed. And once you reach that point, the death rate for the virus skyrockets. And you could have millions and millions of people dead, and it would be a huge disaster. So social distancing is absolutely necessary to protect life. But it's a two-sided thing. You're asking people to not make money for a month. I know people that their business is gone and they're down tens of thousands of dollars and their whole living might be gone. And you want to criticize them for being dumb and ignoring the facts. Well, they are ignoring the facts, but I mean, come on, look at it. They have every incentive to do it. If you're losing $10,000, I think that your brain would probably convince you to believe a lot of crazy things if it meant that you could save yourself the money. You know what I mean? And I was just pointing that out, and they're like, "Oh, you're so smart, Seth." And well, I'm right. What's wrong with just stating the fact that, hey, look, they have every financial incentive to believe what they do. I mean, come on. If we save 2 million lives and we lose 5% GDP in doing it, that's like $1 million per life saved. There's real costs to it that we're not considering. I don't know.
That guy says we're living in a social media culture, where everything is about showing off and amassing followers consisting of the stupid masses.
Oh yeah. And I could definitely there's definitely some things that I could probably do on the stream that would make me a lot more popular. Like I could pretend I could deceive people and make it look like I'm making a ton of money using some tricks. Like not live streaming it and only showing my profitable trades and making a ton of money off of YouTube, but I don't really care about that. Like I care about the trading and I care about the community, and I don't want people here that are just looking for the quick buck. You know, I I appreciate those of you that know that even though it's difficult and I might not be doing the best, that you're still here. That's the real community, not people that are just being nice to you because you think that they're gonna give them money or something. There's a bunch of comments here.
Michael XC says if you find school boring but still do significantly better than most people without doing any work, you have a higher IQ than normal people.
That was not me. I mean, all through high school, I generally did do well in school, but it wasn't like it came without work. It was hard. And I always felt like I had to work twice as hard as everybody else to get the same result. Because the attention span, it was like if I'm going to study for a test, I had to allocate more time for it because I would get distracted half of the time. So, yeah. Not me. That's why I say probably there are some things where my IQ is above average and there are some things that they are below average. And when you go through it all, I'm maybe just slightly above average. The only thing that's special about me is that I have interests in subjects that happen to be really useful in the modern world. Finance and computers and politics. And those three things together turns out to be really valuable. And that's the only thing that's special about me. It's not that I'm particularly smart.
That guy says stupid question maybe, but what's the difference between treasury bond futures and treasure note futures?
That is actually a really great newbie question. We call the 30-year a bond. The 30-year is a bond, and then everything else, the 10, the 5, we call notes. That's just happens to be the way that the United States government decides to call it. Everybody else, they would probably just call all of them bonds, but they call the 10 and the 5 and the 2 notes. So that's all it is. There's no real difference between them. Oh, I see Quasar's answered the question too.
Gene Hibbert says ego is a primal instinct that needs to be left at the door to think clearly and succeed. Let's exclude the ego variable from our ninja script strategy. Slightly smiling face.
Yeah. Well, that's maybe one of the reasons why I always have to come in and say, hey, like, doesn't matter how smart you are, doesn't matter how great your strategy is, the market changes. You have to adjust, and you have to be able to, at some point, you're going to have to come to that place where you have to admit that what you're doing is not working in that market. And the more stubborn you are about it, the more you're going to lose.
Michael XC says lose 5% GDP lol. That's pretty optimistic.
I only use the number 5% because that's the estimates that I was seeing. Is they've been saying that after all is said and done, if we have a really heavy acceleration in the third and fourth quarters, that the net effect will be a 3.5 to 7.5% change in GDP. So if you game it out that there's a 5% change in GDP and we have a GDP of about $20 trillion, okay? And then you divide that and you say we save like 2 million people, you're literally spending $2 million in GDP. My numbers are probably off. Okay, probably in the end, those estimates end up being wrong. But based on the numbers that they're gaming out and they're making policy on right now, you're spending $1 million per person. Just go and give anybody that catches COVID-19 and has to go to the hospital $1 million and then let them die. It would come out the same, like money-wise. It's a little, you realize if they had done the full analysis and people really understood the amount of money that they're going to lose. And I'm not saying that it's the right thing or not, but I bet you would be a lot harder to get people to go along with it. And there would be a lot more fight. The way that they did it, basically they shut everything down, didn't really ever go into the monetary impact of it, just kind of ignored it. Because honestly, the epidemiologists, they don't know us about that stuff. They don't care anyways. And by the time anybody sat down and said, oh, maybe we should organize and fight against this, it's only been this week. We're already pretty much, flattened the curve anyways. So it's too late to do anything about it. Even if everybody stopped doing it right now, I think we would probably be okay. So it's kind of an interesting thing, isn't it? But my only point on that one was don't turn around and say, oh, you're so much better because you understand the danger, and you're being super, super careful. And there's these other people that they're losing their businesses and they're out there protesting because they want to go back into business. You're not better than them. You're not better than them. You just have different incentives. Maybe you're, you can't fault people for behaving the way that people tend to behave, right? That's ego. And then they said that I was being egotistical because I was acting like I'm so smart. And I'm like, well, I'm just stating facts. Y'all gonna catch it, by the way, guys. You realize that? That's the thing that I think is so funny about a lot of this. The way a pandemic ends is herd immunity, which means we all have to catch it. You're all gonna catch it. We just don't want to all catch it at the same time. That's why we're flattening the curve. And you have these people on Facebook that are like freaking out. Oh, it's so dangerous. I don't want to catch it. It's too risky. You're going to catch it, guys. They're lying. If you didn't catch that, then you're not paying attention or you've been lied to.
John B. says trading just one lot S in these markets can be scary. How do people handle hitting like a 50, 100 lots? Blue Turtle says I missed like 30 days my senior year and was in the top 10%. My school was for grave diggers. Law.
I don't think I never missed a single day of high school. Not even a single day of high school. Yeah, John B. Like the thing is when I look at the market right now, there is so much money trading. I have never seen, like yesterday in the midday, I was just astounded at how much volume was still trading and how much they were fighting and everything. And I'm sitting here like we're having like what is people are saying is essentially the largest economic calamity since the Great Depression. And I'm looking and all of these people are blowing money in E-mini. Like apparently there are still too many people with too much bloody money. Like really, guys.
Arash says good morning Seth, I have a question. Do you know how to change the time in NT8 to Est Instead of my local time?
Good question. I think that if you come into tools and options that there is a setting in here, it probably is under market data. Let's see. Nope. I know it's in here somewhere because I've changed it and I do Mountain Standard Time. Oh, here it is. It's in general time zone and you just change it there. Okay. Still at the top of the hour. Could have gone short. Well, just kind of see. Where are we on? Did I close it? Tisk. Ah, there we go. Okay. So we're looking at if we did go down 28.15. And if we went up maybe above the high. Oh, I think that 28.15 looks like really likely, actually. Okay, well, I'll just wait.
Michael XC says they don't have snowstorms in Utah.
Oh, we definitely get snow. It's kind of hit and miss from year to year, though.
Gene Hibbert says hopefully Gilead Sciences will have a vaccine soon. Notice their stock price spiked yesterday. Michael XC says I figured that was due to the study on remdesivir.
Yeah, it was the study yesterday. They released a study yesterday that showed very, very promising results.
That guy says John B. They're scalping short-term positions that have high percentage probability.
Supposedly.
Arash says thanks. That guy says on demo, I bought 10 contracts, and sold it a few seconds later with $600 profit. There are many successful traders taking micro scalps all day long.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any of those. If you have a really short one that has a better than 60 to 70% probability, I would love to try it.
John B. says, has anyone seen the new CME data rules where you have to pay $400 as a professional rather than the now $30? If you have two brokers or like to platform logins.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that you had to take the professional if you had those things. The data rules though are getting kind of a little silly. That's kind of why I'm starting to wonder, like, okay, so is the CME not making money on this? Like, if the CME is not making money on this, then maybe there's a real structural problem in this market. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Bots says ZB tagging 202 range for the full session so far.
Yeah. I've been watching the 10-year, and I was saying how I should have traded it, and I kind of missed the opportunity, and now it's like way, you know, I still want to try and trade the mini here, but I'm not seeing my spot, so we wait.
Michael XC says, read the Jigsaw blog post.
I'm not sure if I saw that. Interview with a scalper, journey to success. Yeah. This article serves two purposes. Firstly, to explain impending changes to the structure of US futures data fees. Secondly, to explain Jigsaw connectivity options and how they impact your fees. If you have more than two connections to market data at the same time, you will be considered a professional trader and trade professional fees. What? It is unclear how the CME will know if you have more than two connections. If you connect to a single Rhythmic account 3 times, then of course they will know. If you connect to one Rhythmic-based account, one Tsukiji-based account, and one Interactive Brokers-based account, it is unclear how they would even know you were connected simultaneously. The way connections are counted depends on the technology you are using. Okay. If you connect directly to the data feed from an application, that counts as a connection. If application A connects to the data feed and then application B connects to the application A, this is only one connection, yes. Blah, 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 blah. Well, that's interesting. I guess that's not me, but huh.
IDK says, look at the lag of the ZN against ZB.
Dan
H says, that is why I use JT Connect from Ninja instead of direct from Jigsaw. John B says, the problem in these market in like 20 to 30 seconds you can go offside $500 with one S contract. The market aren't that orderly and the book has been very thin, especially a few weeks back.
Yeah. I'll get into this mode where, I don't know, maybe I'm just fighting against the trend, but it'll, you'll maybe get like 2 favorable ticks and then it'll go, 20 ticks against you really fast. And then it will go your direction. It's just like, it seems like you've got to have a really big stop. So we'll see how this turns out. To me, 16 ticks is a big stop, but probably I should have it back at 42.75. Sure. It's a swing trade. Fight me. Do it. Look at them. Feeding the open right there. I think they're going to lose. I just wonder why the CME feels like they need to make so much more money on the data. Is the infrastructure for it really that expensive? Every other market, they're giving the data away for free practically. And then you got these guys like ICE that they charge you $200 just to get the dollar index. Like, what the heck? I don't know. I don't think that very many people will end up paying that professional fee. They'll just change the way their platforms work.
That guy says, John, it sounds like you may need to become more selective with your trades. Hey ho says, can you send the link to that on the CME group? I can't find it.
Here's what I was just reading. It was on the Jigsaw blog.
Michael XC says could be less traders.
Well, there are some participants in the market that something happened and they're not able to provide liquidity anymore, especially in the 10-year. Like half of that liquidity was gone. It was because they literally couldn't. I'm sure some people, some big market makers blew up. It's not necessarily just all retail traders. I kind of wonder though, like there sure seems to be. I can remember in previous crises. So like when we had the big volatility spike back in May of like 2017, 2016 or whatever it was. Oh man, that was weird action, and there wasn't a lot of people trading it. There really wasn't, and the volume was just so weird. And this is not like that in the E-mini. I'm actually seeing some really aggressive traders trading into each other. Just look at this in the E-mini. They're fighting them. They're fighting them from getting above the open. You see all this right here? They're trading hundreds at every price. Somebody is fading the open. We'll see if they win or they lose. I'm not necessarily in the spot that I hate taking, I would rather just see it just go my way right away, There could be less traders because of the data fees. Oh, you're saying that maybe they need to increase the data fees because less people are paying for data. That might be true. Oh, did Donald Trump say something? I haven't had my Twitter up. Today, people started losing their jobs because of crazy Nancy Pelosi, crying Chuck Schumer, and the radical left do-nothing Democrats who should immediately come back to Washington and approve legislation to help families in America end your endless vacation. All that. Okay.
Daniel K says, what are you using to automatically get open plotted on your DOM?
Jigsaw will automatically put it in if you have the correct session templates selected. The other the other levels that I have, like the overnight low, opening range low, I calculate in NinjaTrader and export to a CSV file with an indicator that the most basic version of it I have in the downloads channel of Discord. And then I, what do I do? And then you come into Jigsaw and you can load the levels in the load levels tab of the settings. And that's how I do it. But the open itself, it's Jigsaw puts it in there for you if you have the correct session selected, which it doesn't select it automatically for you. And if you select that, it will like reset the DOM when the session changes, which some people don't like, but I'm okay because I can see the extended session in NinjaTrader. With my the stop that I was usually trading with, I would have gotten stopped out of that one. But I have myself down below the previous pivot. We'll see if they go get me or not. The reasons for me to get into this trade, I think I'm seeing it. Let's type a little bit here. So I was gonna the whole point of this was I was gonna be really specific about it. Let's see here. No, that's not it. This one right here. How do I add a trade type? Okay, moving average is flat to positive. We're above the ATR, and we're pressuring the open. Actually, I should just type it right here. Type. Oh man, it's still not there. What do I got to do to? Is it? Oh, it's playbook. Okay. Create. Okay. So then if I come into my queue here, dismiss all. Okay.
IDK says exited my ZN long with 1 tick and then 5 up in 5 minutes, ha ha ha.
Oh, really? That's funny. They're not. They haven't come back yet. The E-mini is kind of pushing that open and suggesting that they might move up. But the treasuries don't at the moment look all that concerned about it. I do kind of see that 09 would be an okay place to take a short, but of course at the high, so I don't know. But we'll see if they turn or not. Okay. Wow, we have so many people viewing today. Thank you guys so much for stopping in, saying hi. I just want to be clear again with the trade that I'm taking, that I'm trying to follow a set plan, and I can't really tell you what the probability of this working out or anything is. I don't really have a whole lot of stats on it. It's kind of based off of stats, but with like the specific way that I'm trading it, I don't know.
IDK says you fade a lot, emo.
Yeah, I'll do both. I mean, that's the thing. Sometimes I'll get into this mode where I like to fade, and sometimes I get into this mode where I like to hit into the edge of them. And there's issues with both of those, isn't there? right now in the 10-year, if I wanted to buy it, I think I would have a hard time buying '09, to be honest. Um, I would like to see them come back to '07 F5 if I was going to buy them. If not, back to maybe even back to '04 half. So if now was a good time for the level break, you can see they're actually doing the level break setup. Then you could maybe buy '09 and see if they hit and pull and everything. But the context, in my opinion, at the moment is not good for a level break trade. So it's kind of a sketchy probability on that trade right now. Doesn't mean they won't take it, but the stats that I have on that one is that that's maybe 40-50% chance that you get a few ticks on it going up. So there's not enough activity in it for me to say that today is a trend day. Could be.
John B. says I am not trying to sound intelligent, but has everyone seen that spread between the front and June CLWTI oil? It's like $7, $18.13 for May and $25.33 for June. Oil is knackered.
I was surprised to see oil move like $6 off from the spread when they switched over contracts the other day. That was wow. So one of the things that we did here was, one of the problems was John was saying, why do you have this on your chart? Why do you have this on your chart? And I say, well, it's fun to look at, or it's something that we talk about on stream sometimes. And so I want to be able to see it. And he said, not like, you don't need that stuff. Get rid of it. And I really don't feel like they affect the trades that I make, but how do I prove that or convince that to him? And I was just discussing it with him and like trying to come up with an answer to convince him. And I was like, I really don't have a good response for this. I really have no choice but to just set it up exactly the way that he says and trade it that way and see what happens. So I don't have oil on my screen right now. I don't even have the spreads on my screen right now. The only thing that I'm not using that I have up right now is that ES right there that you see in the bottom right corner, because it's so cool looking. But I'm not looking at it. I'm looking at this screen over here. Well, they tried to go, but they didn't quite get it again. So 75. Let's just mark that. Can you set spread ladders on Jigsaw? If you have CQG, you can see the exchange traded spreads. I don't have my Jigsaw directly connected to the CQG, and so you'd have to pull it through NinjaTrader, and NinjaTrader doesn't pull the exchange traded spreads. So I can't show you at the moment, but if we were to connect directly to my CQG account with Jigsaw, you download the instruments, you can download the spreads, and then you'd be able to open those up and you could trade those.
Bots says they may not affect your trades, but they have to be a distraction. Your brain can't handle 12 charts and rationalize a trade entry.
We'll see. My opinion is that I feel really lost and that I want to try and trade it, so that when I go back, the goal here is I'm recording in my notes here exactly why I took it. So that when I come back and we talk about it today, I can explain exactly why I took it where I did and where I put my stop and why I got out where I did, so that you can tell me where I made the mistake. So that right there, I think, is the end of that trade, by the way. Mm-mm-mm. I'm just kind of working out. Well, I guess not. So that one did not work out. Could have moved it up to 45.75. So I'm going to put that in the notes. Edit. Should have moved it up to 28.45. 75. Save. So, John said, let me ask you one question. What is your directional bias at this point in the trading day? So, I was flipping long for just a moment, but obviously now it's got to be down. So I think that what we're going to say on that one was that we were kind of taking a reversal. Oh, we were definitely taking a reversal. So, yeah, what you going to do? It's okay. Wait, we can take another one in like 15 minutes. There was definitely some action that led me to believe that it would go long. I don't think it was it was certainly not as crazy of a trade as I was looking at on some of these other ones. And where I had the stop was okay too. But I think he's going to say you should have, because of the way the overnight was, you should have been trying to go short there. Mm-mm. So you're going to take out the regular session low again? No, bouncing on it. Oh, there it is. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. See, normally I would click it right there. 28.35.50. Look at him dump. I was long from 06.5 and took one. Oh, man. That sucks, dude. Oh, hey, I have these two charts. I have some of the colors are different, and I should fix that. So, outside bars. Should be that one. And the outside should be like purple. Purple. And the upside one should be, I was using like aquamarine or something like that. There we go. That makes things a little bit more clear. Okay.
Daniel
Did the
K says
10-year
short
go
from
up higher?
2,863. Still one
Okay.
lot left.
I didn't
Made
watch
back
it.
yesterday's loss, slightly smiling face.
I didn't watch that move. Wait, we got to turn it back over to this one. Oh, they did it. They did do the level break. Okay. Okay. At least I identified the trade correctly. One thing I will say is once they've done a level break, the chances of them doing it a couple more times is a lot higher. So It looks like they're selling really, really hard, but like we're still above yesterday's, so I don't know. So we're coming into the previous day's high. The AP coronavirus could complicate Trump path to re-election. Okay, guys. The pandemic, which has killed more than 30,000 Americans and left millions out of work, has eviscerated Trump's hope to run for a re-election on a strong economy. Well, that's true. I mean, I think you can argue that the economy was strong and that it didn't fall down because of him.
Daniel K says I did a filling the gap trade. Is that what you mean level break? Sorry, new term for me.
So when I call it a level break, what I mean is you're at the high of the day and there's clearly a lot of liquidity up at the top. So right here in the 10-year, you notice that there's 12 and then there's 19. So there's quite a bit of volume sitting there at 12.5. It's going to be harder for them to get through it. And what happens is they absorb there at 111.5, right? So that when they make this go bid, they can just hit into this guy at 12.5 and then cause all of those guys that just filled them to exit the trade. See if he does it. Or sometimes he's part of that offer there and he pulls it. See how he pulled it? Only 18 traded there and they're already down to 1,000, right? So they might be able to trade up through that really easily. Now, that said, the E-mini is coming to a critical level and may hold it, so
Daniel K says thanks a lot. You must have had to explain it to others many times.
nah. I mean, I love it as a trade. It's actually nice that I've been focusing so much on my trade in the E-mini and staying focused on that I didn't try and play that because that one's so tempting to me. It's so much fun. It's so much fun to hit into them and then watch the bid poll and them go through it. Like I said, though, it's not a trade that works all the time, right? It only works in trending action. And right now, the treasuries really, really want to move up. Oh, they're at the previous day's high. They haven't gone through it yet, but they're at the previous day's high. So it's going to be the same sort of a thing, right? Now, they broke 12, but that 13, there's going to be absorption there, right? So the whole thing is going to be, if you're a buyer and you want it to go higher, you really want to just cream those guys at 13 and force so many people to puke that we just rush right up to 15.5, right? And because it's a previous high, there's going to be resistance there. Okay, well, they did touch the previous high. Now they're going to go for the previous close, probably. They'll just kind of wait and see where they're at. They don't appear to be slowing down yet. So now I should be thinking. Okay. Oh, where was that? Hold on. Yeah.
Block by.
No, that was not. I'm noticing something else on my chart that would have made my. Oh, wait, what? Oh, there was a block by. Where was that? 3K hit into 13. Well, darn. Right? So that's exactly what I was talking about, though, right? You want to cream him. Look at him. He creamed him and he's reloading at 13 again. But there's a lot at 13.5 too. Ooh, so it's because it's starting to get a little bit tense. When I heard that, I thought, was that my thing taking a trade? No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It might run into one though. Then lawmakers say leading U.S. airlines are sitting on $10 billion in customer cash, calling for sweeping consumer refunds. Oh, I see. What they're saying is that the customers canceled and didn't get their money back, maybe? Because my wife is a flight attendant, I know a little bit about what's going on in the airline industry, and I've been talking to some guys, and they're saying that they're still flying and that they just fly with nobody on the planes. Isn't that stupid?
John B says I am checking you jigsaw a lot of absorption of cells on the 30 low.
Mm-hmm. But look at the absorption right there at 13.5 at 10K. That's the first 10K we've seen in a while.
Daniel K says I see. It sounds like what I would call a breakout trade, but supercharged with order flow understanding.
It's a breakout. It's a breakout trade, but it's specifically preceded by reloading on the bid before it breaks. So you can see a trader actively holding it up there and setting it up so that they can try and push out the offers.
John B says that's on the S.
Yeah, so I don't even have like my cumulative delta up and stuff like that. I would think that we saw a lot of absorption down in the ES and that we might turn positive, but I do not cannot actually see for sure. Thomas Sowell, why anyone would expect better decisions to be made by third parties who pay no price for being wrong is one of the mysteries of our time.
Bots says nice to see ZB tag a range of 217 this early in the
Don't
day.
tell me. Stop telling me, John. I'm sitting here like, why didn't I trade the 10-year? I'd be making money if I was trading the 10-year. That's my trade. That's my trade, man. Instead, I took this trade in the ES and I traded it wrong. Is that correct? When I took that long, that was the wrong trade, right? I'm waiting for it to come back up again, and I want to take it long again, and it might be the wrong trade again. Or I'll say, well, we're still kind of negative, and that's not a good enough swing for a long. I don't think it would be, right? Because we just hit a low, and so in order for me to justify taking a long now, we would have to hit a higher low. And we didn't hit a higher low before when I thought that we had, but then I looked back and I did it wrong. Probably the one trade that we might even get to see me do here today, and I effed it up. Mm-mm.
IDK says I am not trading anymore for the weak face with tears of joy. I wanted to enter at 040 but didn't get filled and then long 065 closing with one tick. Fuck this.
I don't know. They might be done. Look at all of that absorption. There was a lot of trade at 13.5. So buyers and sellers met. In order for them to continue up, that buyer would really want to push it. Now it's a trend day, so it's absolutely the kind of situation where it can happen, and I can't predict what way it's going to go. But that's a spot where there's kind of this decision tree. I do see a few signs that tell me they might be turning around in the ES. So I don't know. So far, it's just a retracement to previous days' values, and it wouldn't surprise me if they came back to 2,800. Well, 8:30. How do I change the axis down here? Chart panel. I want it because it only shows me 8 and 9, and I want the in betweens. Oh, whatever. Or maybe it's in data series. Maybe. No. Whatever.
Bot says, do you still have the 15-minute candles or boxes behind your 1-minute candles?
No, I have 5. I have 5 minutes. Should I have them 15? I don't. I mean, I can look at them as
Block
threes.
sell.
Ooh. Where was that at? 5,000. Should probably change my filter here. Because there's definitely plenty of hundreds coming through now. At 12 half? Wow. So there's definitely a lot of trade happening here. Oh, and I can actually even see. Oh, now that's interesting. Why am I getting that? Oh, we'll see what happens. It makes me want to fade it. Like short 12 half.
Bot says 15 behind 1 can give you a clearer, longer-term picture unless you have that chart so scrunched down again that you can't see anything.
No, but I mean, I have so here's what I have, right? This is my 1 minute, and this is my 5 minute. And I feel like I got a really good picture of what the long-term one is with this 5 minute chart. So I'm not so concerned about that. I wasn't really paying attention though when I was taking this that here was where the 730 open was, and that was below this move over here. So really couldn't justify that we had made a higher low and that we were going to turn up, could I? Now, if we came up, like if we were to move up or above this line and then come back to 2834, maybe
Block sell.
And I think that they might actually happen just because of what I'm seeing in the treasuries right now. Somebody is really selling them. And like I said, I was 12.5, so there's one tick, and they just sold it at 12, like.
John B says TT great execution but charts are not that good at all. Also Jigsaw tells you where the buyer and seller getting trapped etc. Downside to Jigsaw is processing all the info.
Bot says you'll see an inside 15 you missed before this drift lower.
Well, okay. So we're going to say I'm going to put the 15-minute bars on the 1 minute chart, and I don't need the 5-minute bars because I have it on my other chart already. I'll do it. I'll do that. I can come in here. And this one right here, instead of being 5-minute, we will say it's a 15-minute. I don't actually see. Must be back here. We must be talking about that one right there. Oh, very interesting. I can see where I had gotten long. I mean, I did see that. I was looking for them to bust that 28.54, and they never did. They came so close. So close. Like when I'm thinking back on that trade, it was the wrong trade. It was not an awful trade, but it was the wrong trade. But I think what's going to happen is here's what I'm planning on doing here is I'm going to go through a couple of them and you can say, okay, well, but this. I'm going to write it down and I'm going to have this huge long list of all of these characteristics. I thought your 1 minute was the chart on the lower half of the monitor. No, I just rearranged everything. So this one is the one on top. The top right is the 1 minute, and the one on the bottom right is the 5-minute. And then I just put the volume profile and the ZN over here because this half of the monitor, this left half of the monitor is kind of hard for me to see without turning my head. So I'm not really even looking at that stuff. So that's why, frankly, if I couldn't make these the full screen. It would be too hard for me to see. So I could do that, or I guess I could do that. That would be the same thing, right? But is that okay? What do you think? I think that that's fine, right? So that's how I did it. I still wanted to keep an eye on the 10-year. But look at the 10-year. It's kind of cray. Now I must be. Oh yeah. So you can see now that we're getting up in there. There's so much offers. So much offers. So, like I said, in the 10-year, they tend to move away from that. So it is suggesting to me short, and I said short 12.5. So we'll just keep an eye on that. ES is just still going down.
I'm not really seeing, unless I want to just take it as she goes. But I don't think that that's really the trade, right? Would have had to have taken it right there. Well, I could leave one out there and hope they come back, but probably I just missed it. So now they are pushing into the previous day's range. So they're probably going to go back to 2806. Sorry, there's some other comments.
John B says yes, IDK, they are very stuck in the past.
Yeah.
What do you use?
This is whenever they come in and people say TT is the best, and I'm like, well, the data does appear to be better, and it's very smooth and efficient software, but there's like zero customization on it.
John B says, Seth, are you using one login for Jigsaw and NinjaTrader?
Yes, I am. I'm using the connection. And when Jigsaw comes out with their charts, we'll see. I mean, if they have programming for it, then maybe I'm going to end up programming a ton of shit for Jigsaw. Make all of this stuff and sell them. That would be always be fun. It'd be fun to remake them all. I try and be a little more professional about it. And see, IDK says that he uses Jigsaw. It really is like, well, it's telling me, you know what? If I had taken this one, I might have been able to pull a little bit out of it, out of that strategy. That was the other thing, as I was saying, well, maybe I just need to button down and just like 1-to-1 this trade, only do that, see what happens. But I decided not to do that because I got John sitting like right here. So I was like, we should take advantage of what we got immediate to us right now. So because so many different things that I want to do, and the contention is that I don't have the ability to do them all, and I need to focus on one. So
Daniel K says, I'm a developer. I could see myself teaming up if you wanted.
Sure. Well, especially anything.
Block sell.
I do have things that I want to sell. Oh my gosh, my sell in the 10-year would have been so fucking awesome, right? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. I'm not even supposed to be paying attention to it. What are you doing, Seth? It was a good trade. Here's the crazy thing. You want to see the crazy thing about the 10-year? The liquidity followed it down. Wow. I got these people, and they're saying like, order flow, it doesn't mean anything. How do you look at that? Seriously, just look at it. Just look at that. Tell me that doesn't have edge. You got to be kidding me. Tell me that doesn't have edge. It does. At some point, I'm going to go back and I'm going to start testing that more thoroughly, and we'll actually see what the edge of it is. I'll be interested to see, because those are the sorts of things that I'm looking for in the 10-year. I've had some places where it's been hard, and I always felt like, sometimes it's really hard to quantify. And, now I have such an effective way of quantifying it that only I have. Well, it's not only that I have, but yeah, there's a little secret to it. It's a little better than what you get in Jigsaw. And I'm excited to try when we're done with this. We're going to do this. I don't know if you're there, bots, but we're going to do this for at least 2 weeks. Okay? Like I'm doing it right now.
Krzysztof Szczesny says, can you transfer edge for cash? I am happy to learn, smiley face.
Well, so Christoph, I have some things that I've been keeping to myself, but I have a lot of stuff that I just post, and I put them in the downloads channel of our Discord. Is where you want to go and look if you're on Ninja Trader. And if there's something that you would like, a lot of the times I'll have like more basic versions of them. Um, and if you have an idea, I can help you work the idea, because the way that I look at it is, if somebody has something that they believe has edge, I can program it and I can use the edge myself if there's actually something to it. So I'm always willing to take a look at things and explore it for people.
Trev the A says, random question. Have you built auto traders for the platform?
So I have built auto traders. What I should do, well, it's going to take me a little bit of work. I can definitely put an auto trader for that. The question is, what do I use as a threshold? You know what I mean? But I can definitely auto trade that. This over here, by the way, I have another one. Here's the one on the ES. So can you see it kind of was signaling when we were too far? Bum, bum, bum. Kind of signaling when we're too far. Overall, though, it still looks like that the buyers have it. But I don't have that one hidden. I'm not looking at that one. It's not supposed to influence me. But the auto trader one that I want to make is for this. Is like, if I get a spike like that, then maybe I would. Anyways. Oops, over here. Now on this one, we are so far away. Really just cannot justify. I just kind of missed my opportunity, and Berkshire Hathaway's top exec says it's not being aggressive. Everybody's just frozen. That's not very encouraging, Mr. Buffett. I didn't realize that we're actually still really close to that previous high. More tankers sought for storage. Levels now estimated above 2009 level. Who builds oil storage? I would like to know. What do those stocks look like? Oh, did we lose our... Yes, we did. It did it early today. You guys are probably seeing a ton of stuff that I missed. Nope, just IDK saying volume is going burr on treasuries. Yeah. I don't know. They're still trading some good clips, but man, they came back there so hard, didn't they? Now it's going to be interesting to see how they screw around with it. Like, that was like the good trade. Often what'll happen is I'll catch the good trade and then I want to keep trading it, or I'll take a trade right here and they kind of do screwy stuff and mess with you. Like, they're really planning on going back lower, but first they'll come back up to 13. That sort of nonsense happened. I tell you what, the 10-year is so efficient, and they will always fuck you. They'll always do the funky thing. Oh, Michael, what is the APQ column for in Ninja? Oh, do you not? Yeah, so I don't have it up, but we had it up for a while, and I guess when I screwed things up, I didn't put it back up there, and I still didn't understand how to use it. But when you add it in here, is it this LTQ column? It tells you what the last order was that went through. So when it comes back through, you will see that the last trade they cleared it with a 1 or whatever it is. And I don't know if that really ends up mattering, but people who trading technologies, that's an important oh, maybe you're talking about the APQ. Yeah, okay, maybe you're talking about something else. Anyways, I thought you were talking about the LTQ. This one, they added it in there because all of the trading technology traders wanted it. And there's something where you can put it in place of the volume profile, but I really don't like that personally. Where is that? LTQ? Accumulate trades at price? Oh. No, I think you do it in the volume profile. Yeah. See, now I can show it in the volume profile. Why not? Why not? Let's do it that way for a while. Now the other one, the APQ, if you put a limit order in there, that tells you what your approximate spot is, right? And then when it's filled, it will tell you what your profit loss is, which is really nice. Mm-hmm. Man, what was it when we came in here this morning? 62. Wow. Oh, but that's actually only 40 points. I don't know. I still never found out what the going price for Rand Squawk is. It wasn't on their website. Pretty sure it's like $84. I hate that they don't show it anymore. You afraid that I won't buy it if you show me the price? Come on. Hate that. Hate that kind of thing. There's a 3,800 lot stuck short at 09. I see what you're talking about, actually. Probably you can see a lot of trade meeting up in certain spots, right? So, like, the way you can get is like big move up. People trade it. Market makers lose money on one side or the other. Balances. And then we have to wait to see the next spot that they come back together at. And maybe it's down here and maybe it's not. Maybe they're just done. That the treasuries dropped so hard, maybe a signal that we gonna step back. That we're gonna move up. Question: Ninja Trader 7 backtesting sucks. Is Ninja 8 better? I've never done it in 7. I have to say that the backtesting in Ninja 8 is pretty cool. Like, in terms of the ease of use, I'd say it's really effective. And I can go back through and look at the trades and confirm for myself based on the historical backtesting that it took it where it's supposed to. Although I have had ones where it seemed like they changed and I don't know what causes that. I think that that's a problem on my end and not Ninja's end. But And at first there was some issues with it, like it would crash sometimes and things, but it's gotten a lot better. I've used 7 for years and hate. Oh, I bet, Trev. I feel you. Listen, Ninja Trader 8 is so much better than 7. I know that a lot of you guys held back on it because there was crashes, and early on in 8 there was real problems, but I have not had Ninja Trader 8 crash on me in a long time unless I am modifying my workspace. So, is it possible to put the columns on the left side of the DOM in the Ninja Trader 8 one? I don't think so. Well, it is, but it isn't. So, like in Ninja Trader 8, they have the ability, if you know how to use WPF, to change the components. So it's not necessarily incredibly difficult, but you do have to know what you're doing, and it is a little bit of work. And that's why there's a couple of different people that offer replacements for the Ninja Trader 8 DOM. That's what they did, was they went and they modified the WPF. Dan says my Ninja Trader 8 crashed twice this week. Man. Even if you just have it open and you're not touching anything. Because that's what I say. Like, if I change something about my chart, then yeah, I can get it to crash. For sure. I can for sure get it to crash. But when I'm actually trading, I don't have that problem anymore. I haven't had that in a long time. And of course, make sure you're on the latest version. Dan says, no, I was changing between things, right? Yeah, it's like, I think the problems come in when you have a lot of custom indicators and stuff. Sometimes it's nice to go back in and look at the log files and see if it was an indicator that crashed it. So there seems to be some weird thing with when you're reloading the chart a ton of times that the threads get confused or something. If your Ninja Trader 8 is crashing, you need to test for the amount of memory it's using versus how much memory your machine has installed. I built a bunch of indicators and bots in 7 and I'm moving to the 8 because I don't know how difficult it will be to migrate them over. Okay, so Trev, in some instances, you may have to rewrite it in Ninja Trader 8. But the programming in Ninja Trader 8 is light years ahead of 7. Oh my gosh, there are so many indicators that people were making in Ninja Trader 7 that were like literally thousands of lines of code that are like 20 lines of code in Ninja Trader 8. I'm not kidding. So Ninja Trader 8 is such a better platform in that respect, and that's why people are moving over. It's that, like, there really is a reason that people are moving over to 8, even though they might still have some performance issues with it. You know? Oh yeah, Bot's giving a good recommendation to, like, do a clean install, remove all of the indicators from your charts, and only add them back in one at a time or something like that. Can we debug in Visual Studio in 8? Yes, you can. In fact, I have a video on my channel. If you go into the programming series that I have on here, and it explains quickly how to do that. But the long and short of it is that when you're in the Ninja Trader 8 editor window, there's a button that you can push to open up a solution in Visual Studio. And then when you're in Visual Studio, you just attach it to the Ninja Trader process. And if you have the debug symbols turned on in Ninja Trader, then you can debug it line by line. Always found Ninja Trader 7 terrible for bugs and crashing. Oh, cool. I'll check out your videos. Yeah, it's pretty easy. And especially because I tell you what, when Ninja Trader is giving you like, what is the word? Oh, maybe I should be, hold on. Hold the bucket. Hold the boat here. Okay. I see. What was I saying? Oh yeah, when you have like a a null pointer kind of exception, or you try and access a value in an index that doesn't exist yet. Oh, it's so hard because the error that it gives you out doesn't tell you anything about where it is. So debugging it in Visual Studio is really helpful because it immediately takes you to where you should go. And if you really take the time to read it, and sometimes I don't, you should be able to find it pretty quickly. Do you need to restart NinjaTrader to rebuild your code, or can you rebuild and run without restarting Ninja? If it's an indicator, all you have to do is refresh the chart. There's a couple of edge cases, like if you create a new chart style, the new chart style will not show up as an option in NinjaTrader until you restart it. But then after that, you can recompile it and refresh the chart. So generally speaking, no. Interesting. Well, I don't know if this counts, John, but it's definitely not the spot that I want. But we're going to go with it. Okay, so there you go by me. Now, hold up. You're getting all this messy business again. Oh, I don't like those. Well, I should have been patient. Okay. Let's see here. Price bars are retesting the 50 EMI, but looking back to the downside as they probe the prior session's high from below for now. New outside bar on the 1 minute there. New round of price discovery. Yes. Well, and there's been outside bars both ways too. So that kind of made me nervous about taking the short there. I'm not sure if I did that one correctly either. But we're trying, we'll see. Yeah, buyers are pushing. Right, but this last one is pressing to test the hour open at 28.35. Right. Yeah, that's where I was saying, well, if I was going to take it, I should have taken it at 28.35, and I didn't. So that's why I'm. But what I wanted to do was wait for it to come right here and then look if it comes back down through it, then I would take it. That's probably what I should have done. I don't know. Doesn't look like the setup just doesn't look clean to me. You went long at 09.5 again? That's not bad. I mean, the offers that were above us in the 10-year did chill off. So going long again is reasonable, but probably we would need some more, what is the word? Some more push from the E-mini to do that. Okay, cool. No, I should have done it a little bit further down. Oh well. Yeah. I want to dink around with it a little bit and campaign it, but I probably shouldn't, huh? Hmm. What time is it? 9:06? Okay. We'll go for another 30 minutes if you guys are still with me. There's still a lot of you guys watching. I thank you so much. What we had peak at like 40 today? Let's see. Analytics. 45. Wow. You guys are so wonderful. Yeah, they kind of battling it out there. They know. This is exactly why this particular trade makes me uncomfortable and why I'm really skeptical about it. So this area is never something that just goes. There's always some sort of fight over it. Where is your stop? Really far away. Actually, I don't even remember why I have it all the way up there. We're probably at a spot where we're fine. What do you care? I'm putting it so far out that no scalping is gonna take it out. Like if it gets taken out, then you were just dead wrong. Hold this bounce below 28.43, then the target is 28.16. Yeah, that's the way that I see it too. I see it at 15, but yes, the current low holds on this rotation. It might be time to start thinking alongside with the right bar setup, inside breakout, etc. Yeah, well, so here's the issue I'm having right now, John, is when I look at it, it seems to me like I have to take it in a spot where you could potentially take it long or short, you know? Now you got me all weirded out. Why do you care where my stop is? What if I just get rid of it? What if I get rid of it and I sell a ton of contracts here? What do you care? Huh? You want to trade against me? Fight me. Go buy it. Do it. Do it. Let's see what happens. It'll be fun. We can, whichever way, it's fine. Oh, we get rid of that. We don't need that. Ain't nobody need them. Or are you just looking out for me? Seth, you really shouldn't have a stop that far away. No, how much are we're gonna risk $1,000. Let's risk it that a new regular session high. Is that fair? Yeah, new regular session high. If it gets a new regular session high, then maybe we'll freak out. All right. I'm waiting for you to stop out so I can sell somewhere around 28.40. Okay. I'm taking a much bigger swing than that. Yeah, 28.31.25 isn't holding. That was exactly my thought. But I would like to see these other ones go too. So there's this one. There was 31.50, and there was 28.75. And there's the ATR, of course, too. 28.30. There's lots of numbers that don't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. See, here's my strategy. Just try and bait everybody into trading against me, and then hold a way bigger stop than they can have. And then when they realize that they can't do it, they'll all just sell. I think it's working out really well. I mean, as soon as I started doing crazy things, it started going down. So I mean, I had some people saying that there was somebody trying to trade against me. So I'm just warning you. I would not use me as your signals. That's not going to work out for you in the long run. And probably not going to work out for either of us in the long run. Prior day's high with 3150. That's why it's of interest. Yes. I have it there. I have it listed. Do you see it? In my columns. Previous high, 28.3150. Previous close, 28.2975. Cool. So because I got 7, I'm just going to take 1 here. That should give me a little bit of, yeah, cool. Sell, bounce, sell until this pullback stops, Algo Lover. Thanks, Algo, man. Hey, dude, I love it when you come by. I missed you when you weren't coming by. And I know you visit everybody, and I know I'm not special, but still. Yeah, it is definitely a good level to lean on. You notice, though, that they're not really... I mean, I'm definitely going to see them, like, take that spot, right? But are they going to... Yeah, so let's... No. Look at that. Cool. Now you definitely... Look at that. Now I could even... Now you're really going to have to get up there if you want to stop me out. Because I'm willing to risk $50 on this, bro. Oh. Looky. John Grau, hey, currently learning about trading the DOM. Any recommendation for such process? Thanks. Oh, you were here yesterday, Joe. What was I saying? How do I collect my thoughts? The way that I started was the Nobius day trading course. Now, if you go and you buy that course and you read it and you follow the exact signals that he gives you, probably you're not going to make money. And that's not really the intention of his course. But what he does do is he kind of explains the game that's going on the DOM. And then what you got to do is you just got to kind of watch it and see the way that things develop and understand why they develop the way that they do and trade. And I can't guarantee that you'll make money doing it that way, but you'll at least stand a chance. But that's the really difficult thing about trading. And we've been pushing about this a lot this week just because I'm super hyper focused on it, I guess. But the market is a fractal function, which means that the input for the function is the output of the previous iteration. So when you come in and you start trading it, you're affecting the instrument. And because the output goes back into it again, super teeny tiny change can end up having a really huge effect on a function. That's how you get these fractals with these huge patterns, is like if they move it even like a super teeny tiny, like, a billionth of a point change can end up in a radically different color on the Mandelbrot set, right? So
I cannot just come in and say trade like this and this is the way that it works. It's something that's constantly changing on you, right? So the only way that you can do it, the only way that you can learn to trade is to actually put trades in and see how it affects the market and learn. I think that Algo Lover is Satoshi. I wish. Hey, Algo Lover, if you're Satoshi, send me a transaction on the blockchain. You know what's so funny? Okay, if I made a wallet, and I don't even have a Bitcoin wallet, but if I made a wallet, and then Satoshi sent me a little bit of money, like even if he just sent me a cent, I bet you that all of these people in the Bitcoin world would start sending me money just randomly. I bet you. That would be so cool. Hey, listen, Satoshi, if you're still alive, I really hope the government did kill you. If you're still alive, just hit me up. Send me. It would really help. I would really appreciate it. Just send me a few dollars on the chain. Oh, I like that last downturn. Still not the low of the hour. I don't know. Like the thing is there's still like this gap, all the way down to like really down to 2,800 that they're just not going for yet. I'm not sure what it'll take to get for them to get there. They're kind of dragging their feet down here. Well, they are pushing down below those prices though, so it does look like they're pushing it. Anyone think we'll bounce at about 28, 22, 750? I'm not exactly sure why you see that price as significant, but I really can't say what it's going to do. They're going, look at that, that low there is, they're going for it. I can say that much. How many points did I get? 35? Normally, if I get that, then that's pretty good. What should we call today's video? I'm thinking that we should say something like the market is fighting me, so I did crazy. The market is fighting me, so I did crazy things and screwed them up. That's what I think. I don't think that's what actually happened, but it's a good clickbait. Come on. Oh, that was the low about an hour back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, as soon as I said that, I looked back at it and I said, "Oh, wait, that's the low of the regular session." Cool. Let's just wait and see if they break that. I only took that off to feel good about myself. Hey, look at that. Don't look at that. You didn't see what account that was. Mm-hmm. Well, they didn't go for it that time. Oh, there's a bunch of comments yesterday. There's some people talking about the earthquake. Hmm. Yeah, seems undecided, especially if that's as far as the sellers could get. He would have said that about 10 minutes ago, though. It's looking like the low after a little move down failed to extend the current low. We'll see nothing. Says you have to be the first in it. Could still value. Yeah. I mean, with the way that they've been trading today, my gut feeling is that they will continue to move down to 2800, 2815 to 2800. In fact, I'm going to put my typo fall not fail. Yeah, I'm gonna put my confidence on that at 55. I'm gonna put my confidence on that at 55. But yeah. Oh, there you go. They filled that. It's definitely hitting down now. Yeah. I mean, I really should have stayed in that, but I was sticking around a little bit, wasn't I? It's a good swing trade. I really think, let's just say that I stay in, right? So I was 28.34. And I want 28.14. 20 points. That's what I think the target is. It is a swing trade. I think that I'm supposed to trail the stop down, right? Maybe I really shouldn't, man. Why 28.14? Reasons. I don't trust you anymore, Twem dog. To be fucking honest, like quite seriously, dude. Man, should I even be saying this shit? I don't. Somebody in chat is like, hey, where is your stop? Like, fucking really? You'd like, first of all, that's super disappointing that somebody would do that, even if you're just joking around. Number two, it's a dumb idea. Okay. Like trying to trade against one other specific person, even if you think that they are like really bad or something, because generally what's going to happen when you do that is you're still going to lose too. I mean, I've seen that. Like, I'll take a strategy and I'll be like, okay, this strategy doesn't appear to do very well. What happens if we do the opposite of that strategy? Maybe that will be profitable too. Usually not. Almost never, in fact. Almost never. Just saying. You still lose money. So why would you do that? But now every time that you say something, I'm gonna be like, there's that guy that wants to know where my stop is. Should I maybe I'll tell you what. The trade that I'm practicing right now is a swing trade. It is going to be bigger. I'm holding like well, at least $50, if not more. And I can campaign and give myself more room. Did you see that one? I put 6 contracts on it, so it was above the high. But come on, why would you do that, dude? Fuck you, seriously, fuck you. But why 2814? Because that's kind of Algo Lover mentioned it first, but then I also have a target based on volatility. So that's where I get my number from. So there's a pretty high probability that we touch 2814. Pretty high. I'm gonna ruin it for everybody. I'm gonna have to go and do it on a DOM off the screen now. And new hour starting. So let's say that if I had held that ride down, I would have gotten out here. I actually got a better price than this. Actually, that really good rush down was only a little bit more than what I took. Now I'm sitting here like, okay, maybe I shouldn't show it. But you know what would be even more fun? What if I put another DOM on the other screen and then I could put stuff on the DOM over on here and then I could make you guys guess whether I really took it or not. Huh? Sometimes. So if you want to trade against me or trade with me, you never know, because the one that I'm showing you might be bullshit and it might be real. I couldn't always make it be bullshit, because then you would just always do the opposite of what I would put on there, right? But maybe I just make it random or something and start messing with y'all's heads. Oh, do we really need to go down that road? No, but then maybe I just not show it. But that's the thing that's so cool, is that I show it. No, better answer is hold a really big stop. I'm gonna have to think hard. 9:30 though. It's time for me to go, guys. Good session. What should we should put in as why I do crazy things and you shouldn't trade against me. That's Just saying. We got a good trade there. What do you think, John? You still there? You still there, bots? Aresh, thanks. Good day. Hey, thank you. I had fun today. I was really feeling bad yesterday, so I feel better. I'm gonna make a video tonight too. Not. Bot says, "Yep." We would text about it. I'm gonna go. See you guys Monday. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.